I think the most successful organizational model for large, complex cybersecurity organizations is some variation on a cyber fusion model. There are a lot of different kinds of this model, but ultimately what it comes down to is bringing data together from multiple disciplines inside of traditional cybersecurity areas and outside of traditional cybersecurity areas, such as operational technology, insider risk, physical security, or fraud and financial crime if you're a financial institution, bringing them all together from an aspect of data, of process and workflow, of the people that work on these problems and the technology. Ultimately, I think that is the approach that brings the best, most reliable, most consistent outcomes to mature cybersecurity organizations. A smaller organization can actually apply the same model in some ways more easily than a large one can. Smaller organizations have fewer moving parts. They tend to have more agile structures for change. And in many cases, the players already know each other, so they can begin to fuse informally simply by sharing information in a physical fashion. So a small organization may not have the budget of a giant cybersecurity organization to build a giant fusion center with a huge data lake and 1,000 TV screens on the wall. But what they have instead are speed, agility, and pre-existing relationships that they can use to go from a disparate ad hoc cybersecurity posture to a consistently managed, fused approach. I think the biggest challenge for cybersecurity in 2024 is actually going to be the biggest challenge for cybersecurity in 2023 and 2022 and 2027, I'm sure. And it's a little bit different from what a lot of other people will say. I think it continues to be the complexity of our environments. It's the fact that we still don't have, most organizations, maybe any organization, still doesn't have a good view on what's in its environment. Maybe we thought we caught up with the right number of devices, but then something happens and we find out that we don't have an effective inventory of all of our middleware. We find out that we have end of service and end of life components and tools that we thought were fully up to date, and we have shadow IT popping up around our organization. Until we can see our environment, we're never going to be able to protect it. And so, while that might not be the most exciting, biggest challenge for 2024, I think it's probably the real one. I think over the next couple of years, we're going to see some things happen with artificial intelligence that we have seen in every other big security buzzword. And that's not to say that those things aren't real, but there's going to be some people that probably oversell what they are or whatnot, right? So we're going to have an opportunity to use advanced analytics, a lot of what we call AI today, to do things like helping to get our heads wrapped around the complexity of our environments, trying to see into our environment. We're going to get to use AI to help us improve our automations and be able to make certain inline decisions faster at the appropriate risk level. We're going to be able to model out potential futures in a way that we weren't able to do before because it was too time intensive. At the same time, however, as our adversaries use the same technologies for the same things, we're going to see not really new or novel attacks, but a greater volume of the same kinds of attacks as they use AI to scale their own operations the same way that we want to try to use it to scale our operations. And so, as in all things in cyber, the arms race just goes ever onward.